guys, it's Akila here, back with another video, and today I'm doing a story time on why you should leave your hallway crush alone. So if you've ever gone to school, we probably all had that one hallway crush, like that person that you see walking around. Even in college, you got a little campus crush, that one fine guy you see walking around all the time, okay? So back in high school during my senior year, I had a little hallway crush, and it was this guy. I'm gonna give him the name Green Bean because he was green. My friend, she tried to tell me, she was like, oh, he a little green bean, but when have I listened to anybody ever? So yeah, you know, I had to mess around and find out and see what he was talking about. I'll go ahead and describe him. He was 6'1", so obviously he stood out to me because he was tall. Like, there's other people walking in the hallway and then I just see, boom, him. Okay, so he was 6'1", he had freeform dreads, which is my favorite hairstyle. Like, I love that hairstyle on a guy, so of course I noticed him. He had like brown skin, kind of like mine, and he had tattoos like all on his arms. Like, he was just like, he was cute. And yeah, the way he dressed like a YN, like but he was cute or whatever. Oh yeah, and then something else about Green Bean, he looked just like my ex. Like, he looked like an American version of my ex, and honestly, that's that's what made me like find him so attractive, to be honest. And he had that mustache goatee combo, and you can never go wrong with a mustache goatee combo. Like, y'all know what I'm saying. That's mwah, chef's kiss. So yeah, so I have been telling my friends about this guy. I was like, y'all, there's this guy who I only see in the hallway, but every time I see him, he's just like so cute. And I was like, I keep seeing him in the hallway, I have to like talk to him. And so I have been describing him to them, and they were like, I don't think this guy exists. Like, they didn't believe he was real because they never seen him. And like, it had been months that I would just be like coming to lunch, sitting down at the table talking about my hallway crush. So finally my friend was like, wait, I think he's in my gym class. So she sends me a picture of him and she's like, oh, is that him? And I was like, yes. I was so happy. I was like, that's him. Like, she finally saw him. So one thing about my friends, like, they're always looking out for me. Like, they see something I like, they gonna make sure I get it, okay? She was talking about how she would go up to him the next time that they were in gym class and get his app for me so that me and him could start talking. And I was like, okay, cool. So she went up to him and asked him could she get his Instagram for her friend, and he wanted to see what I looked like, so she showed him like a few pictures of me off my Instagram, and then he like held out his phone and she took a picture of his app on her phone and sent it to me. So once I got that IG, I was like, I'm in there. Like, I was too happy. So I followed him and he followed me back, and then he texted me first, and you know, we're having a little conversation. We got on FaceTime first night. I'm like,
yeah, she want a sweet tonight. Oh yeah.
This is love at first sight, y'all. Like, we FaceTimed that night, and you know, we started texting. I was running track at the time, and I was telling him about my track meet or whatever, and I think maybe I got like a PR or I like, you know, did something. And he was like, bet I'm gonna give you a hug tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So I texted him when we got to school. We met up in the hallway and we hugged and stuff. And then I think he told me to kiss him, and I did because duh. So then after that, you know, it would just bro, this is so cringy, but like, we would literally just leave class and like meet up in the hallway and kiss. And like, I was doing this as a senior because he was fine. That's really the only explanation I can give. And he was a senior too, but I think he had transferred to our school after winter break. So yeah, we went off like that for maybe about a month, but I never saw him outside of school because I had my own car at the time, and I wanted to see him outside of school, but he didn't have a car. And he also worked at Walmart, which is, once again, the people who work at Walmart, just stay away from them. They're not good people. Like, I have beef with Walmart workers. He would text me sometimes asking me to pick him up from work or drop him off from work. Like, like a lot of the texts and conversations we would have like would involve me being his personal Uber, which yeah, that was not cool. But yeah, every time he would ask me to like pick him up from work, I'd say no because we didn't live near each other. Like he lived in a different city than me, even though we went to the same school, but the high school that I went to was in a different city than where I lived. And yeah, I was just not finna go pick him up from work. Like that was just not gonna happen. One day, it was a little bit different. At this point, we have been talking for like a month, and he was like, he invited me over to his house. It was a Friday. He had invited me over to hang out with him, but he said I couldn't go inside because he lived in a suite. And I was confused about what he meant by that because I'm thinking about a suite. I'm like, isn't that like a room with a bathroom and like a kitchen? Like, I don't know, because I'm thinking about like a hotel suite, like, or something. Like, that's really the only suite that I knew of. So I wasn't really putting together what he was saying. So I was like, okay. So I said, like, since he said I couldn't come inside, you know, I was cool with that. I was like, I guess we can just, like, chill outside. Like, I'm thinking the place where he lives, like, probably has, like, a bench or, like, you know, something to sit on outside. Like, we could just chill, you know, because I just wanted to see him outside of school. I didn't care about none of that. Like, I had a crush on him, even though he used to play in my face, y'all. Like, one time I had complained to him because I was like, you don't FaceTime me enough. Like, you barely call me. I want to talk to you more. Yo, after I texted him that and I told him that I wanted us to talk more, he was like, okay, I'm gonna do better. He FaceTimes me. I answer the phone and I'm like, in my head, I'm all happy and stuff. I was like, oh, he actually like is calling me. Like, wow.
BFFR. What did that spell? B fucking for real.
Get on the phone. He's like, he was in the car and he was like, oh, how's your day going, blah blah blah. And I'm getting ready to yap. Like, I love talking on FaceTime, especially to like a guy that I like I'll talk about anything. So I'm getting ready to start talking and he's just like, oh, okay, well, I'm at my destination now, so I gotta hang up. We were on FaceTime for 1 minute and I wish I was exaggerating. Exactly 1 minute. I was like, dude, why? You telling me you waited until you got to the place where you were going to call me just to be like, how are you? Like, he was like, oh, I was just checking in. Don't piss me off. Like, don't piss me off. So I was just like, oh, okay. So yeah, example right there of how he used to play in my freaking face. When he said I could come over, I was mad excited. And that day, I actually worked out because I didn't have track practice. Like, we used to have track practice every single day after school. Like, you could not miss it or you weren't gonna run in them track meets. Like, you were gonna get kicked off the team. My coach did not play about not going to practice. So I always had to make sure I was there. So that day, I actually didn't have track practice because my mom picked me up from school that day and we drove to Atlanta because I went to go tour Georgia Tech, my school's campus, because, you know, I was a senior, it's like college season, blah, 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 whatever. So I went to go tour the campus, and then after the tour, my mom was gonna drop me off back at school so I could pick up my car from school. At the time, every time I wanted to go somewhere, well, basically anytime I wanted to go to see a guy, I would lie to my mom and say I was going to like some random friend's house. So I asked her, could I go to one of my friends' houses, like, after we did the tour and everything, and she said that was fine. So I, like, drove my car to his place, and he sent me the address, and I pulled up there, and I was just, like, like, I was just in shock because the address that he sent me was a motel and I didn't know that. Like, it didn't show it when I put it in my maps because I use like the Apple Maps and it didn't come up as a motel when I was like typing it in. I thought I was going to like, I don't know, like he said he lived in a suite, so I just assumed I was going to like an apartment complex or something, but it was like a motel and like not a nice one. Like, it looked like the paint on the outside was peeling and rusty, and like I was just like shocked. I liked him and I wasn't trying to be like bougie or anything, so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna still like hang out with him because that would be messed up, you know, if I drove here and saw what it looked like in Labs, like, you know. So I was just like, I'm gonna just come on, whatever. So I texted him and told him I was there, and like the address that he gave me, it wasn't like his specific room number or anything, so I didn't really know where to park my car. So he told me to come around on the other side. So I drive around on the other side, park my car, get out the car. He walks over to me and he's with his friend. His friend was a freshman. He says hi to me, whatever, gives me a little side hug. We were leaning up against my car, standing there, and he was talking to me. And he was kind of scaring me a little bit because he kept looking around and he was like, move your car. And I was like, move it where? And he was just like, you should move your car. And I'm just like, y'all, I do not even drive like a nice car or fancy car. I have a 2012 Toyota Corolla, and he's over here telling me to move my car and looking around like somebody's gonna steal my car. And I'm just like I was trying to be cool, but now I'm like scared because like it was the middle of the day. It was like 3 o'clock when I got there, and it was just so many people like outside, literally like grown adults just hanging out on the balcony, walking around and stuff. And I'm in my head like, y'all don't have jobs to go to, like y'all don't have anything constructive to do at your time. But I don't know people's situations, so I don't know. But yeah, so I told him I wasn't gonna move my car. I was like, it's fine, whatever. I don't know why he wanted me to move my car. Maybe he wanted me to like move it closer to like his room. I don't know. But yeah, after that we just left the car alone, and he wanted to play basketball because they had a basketball hoop in the parking lot. And I was like, okay. So we played basketball together, but it wasn't his basketball. It was this little boy's basketball, like this little boy, 3-year-old boy. And we were playing with the little boy's basketball, and he was like trying to play with us a little bit too because it was his ball, right? And so it's like us and then like some other kids that like live there, and me and him are the oldest, playing with the basketball. Then the little boy's mom comes outside and she starts cursing him out, dude. Like she's yelling mad loud and cursing him out, and she's like, what did I tell you about playing with those big kids, and you need to come get your ball and come inside and blah 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 blah. And so he had the ball, Green Bean had the ball, and like gave it back to the little boy, and we couldn't play basketball anymore because we didn't have a ball. So after that we walked around to where his room was, and we were standing outside his door. He had already told me like through text that I couldn't go inside, but he went in because he said he was gonna get a snack, and he asked me did I want something, and I said sure. So he opens the door because they had a little net over the door like for bugs and stuff, and then he opened it up, and I wasn't really trying to be nosy, but I took a little peek to see what was inside, and I just seen a table like in the living room like covered with trash. Like I'm talking about like papers and empty styrofoam cups and just trash just all over the table. And I was in my head like, you know, I'm clean. Like, okay. Went in there, grabbed the snacks, came out. He gave me this big Rice Krispie, and it was like it was a special Rice Krispie because it had actual little marshmallows in it. So y'all, he literally took me inside his hotbox car. Like, so because like I said, he didn't have a car, but this car, I guess it just didn't work or something, or the tires might have been flat. I don't remember, but it was like parked like in front of his room. There was like parking spots like right here, and then there were some back there, and so the car that we sat in was in the back parking spaces. And so we go get in there, open the door, it's loud AF in there. I'm like, like I don't smoke and I really don't like the smell of weed, so I was like it was like and then you could see like the little roaches on the door. You know how they have like the door handle, there's like a little area right there, and there was like little roaches in there, and I'm just like like this, I was like, this is ghetto, like no. So we're sitting in the hotbox car eating the Rice Krispies, and I'm just talking to him, and like at the time I had like not really stuff going on at home, but like I had a lot going on, like school, track, and then my mom and her ex, and just I don't know, I'm just venting to him. Like, he was laying in my lap and I was running my fingers through his dress, and I'm just like, yeah, my mom's boyfriend, this, that, and I don't like him, and blah, blah, blah. And literally just venting to him. And then he was talking to me a little bit about his dad and his dad's girlfriend. I don't know. And what he told me was a little questionable, because I think he said his dad's girlfriend or wife, he said his dad's wife was a nurse. And I was in my head like, does she live with y'all? Because I'm like, you have a woman living with y'all and that's what it looks like in there? Like, huh? And I was like, she's a nurse? Like, I just had so many questions, but I don't know. I didn't ask anything. Like, I'm not trying to be too nosy, you know? So I'm just like, okay. So, yeah, we're talking and stuff. And then we get to, like, kissing or whatever. And I think it was weird because his friends, one of them was a freshman. I think the other one was in, like, 8th grade. He seen them walking up to the car because I saw them, too. And as soon as we, like, noticed them walking to the car, he, like, pulls my head down because he had his head in my lap. And he pulls my head down and starts kissing me. So I'm like, are you trying to kiss me in front of your friends? Like, it was just weird. I don't know. So then his friends come get in the car. And I'm just like, So now it's all of us. One who I said was a freshman, he came talking about he want to smoke. And they all of a sudden, they all want to smoke. And so Green Bean leaves the car to go to the room and see if he has any papers for them to roll in. And I'm just sitting in the car. I think the freshman trying to get on Green Bean's phone, and he was like, oh, you know the password? I was like, no, like, we don't mess with each other like that. So then he started asking me questions. He's like, oh, so are you his girl? And I was like, no, we're just friends. Like, it was very awkward. And so then he comes back and he's like, oh, I couldn't find anything. And so then he asks me, he's like, oh, can you drive me up to the gas station real quick? It's just right there, like just around the corner. And I said yes, of course. So we're walking to my car and he had his arm around me or whatever. Then he asked me, he pulled out his hands, and it was like a handful of change, and was like, I don't like to pay for my woods with cash, and I only like to use coins. And he's like, do you have any quarters I can have to buy some?
Spare change, ma'am.
And I just remember looking at him like you're in my face with a handful of change. And I'm just like, when we got to the gas station, because another weird thing, we were pulling up to the gas station, he was telling me where to park, and why does he keep telling me where to put my car? Like, I'm thinking, does he know something I don't? Because I'm just like, why does it matter where I park the car? So yeah, he was telling me to like park my car at this specific place, and I'm just like, okay. So then I reached in my wallet, give him the quarters. I gave him like all the quarters I had, like probably $2 in quarters. That's not that much, but anyway. So I gave him the quarters, whatever. And then I started to think about it, because I was like, did he even need my quarters? Because he already had a handful of change, and you can get a pack of 2 for 99 cents. So I'm just like, what did you need all this for? And also, I guess like the worker, I don't know, I guess he was cool with the workers there, because you got to be 21 and up to buy that stuff, but maybe they don't ID, I don't know. He went in the store, he was in there, not for a long time, but like longer than I expected. So then he came back, and then we were going back to his place, and I couldn't remember where to turn, because I was like, is it this turn or is it the one down there? And I'm asking him, and I'm kind of, there was not really any cars behind me, but I'm like low-key sitting in the middle of the road. I'm like, oh wait, where do I go? Y'all, he reached over, put his hand on my steering wheel, and turned the car. I'm like, what the heck? Like, so then we pull into his place where he lived, and then he was like, oh shoot, there's my dad, he's back. And I was like, okay. And he was like, bruh, hurry up, speed up. He was trying to tell me to speed through the parking lot because he didn't want his dad to see us together. And I was like, like, he's like, oh, my dad's gonna be asking me questions, just speed up, hurry up. And I was just like, no, bro, I'm not finna speed through the parking lot. Like, no, like, that's not safe. And so I sped up a little bit, but he was like, go faster, go, go, go. I'm like, dude. He's like, oh, it's too late. He already saw us anyway. So then I parked the car, and then he just got out the car and was like, bye. And I was like, bye. And then he was like, oh, my bad. And like came back and gave me a little like side hug or something. But y'all, it was so dumb. And then after that I left, and that was the only time we ever hung out outside of school. And so it was fun, I guess, but I don't know, it was something interesting, like. And I just remember telling all my friends that story, and they're like, bro, what? I have like a part 2 about him, but yeah, sometimes it's better to just let our hallway crush stay our hallway crush and don't try to get to know them, because when you don't know who they are, they can just stay the person in your head. Like, you know, you have an idealized version of them in your head and what you think they're gonna be like, because you don't know them yet and you just think they're cute. So you just made up their own personality in your head. And then once you get to know them, most of the time it's disappointing. So yeah, my hallway crush was definitely disappointing. Not just because of like this story. Like, this story honestly wasn't that bad. It's just a story of how we like linked up and hung out, and it wasn't quite what I expected it to be. I'll make another story time related to him, and then you'll see more why I call him Green Bean, because yeah, he was green. But that's all for today's video, so thank you for watching and tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. We're on the road to 80 subscribers right now. Bye.